Darn it! I forgot to change the microphone again. It's fine. I'm actually gonna check and see if you can hear the fan. I turned the live chat off today because I want to get in and get out with this one. I don't know. This one, it's more of a, I guess, sit and listen. Take it if it resonates. Take it how it resonates, when it resonates, if it resonates for you. But okay, you can't hear it. Nice for you, but my laptop is a little hot. That's why I have the fan going. It's a laptop fan for anyone who's curious. Anyway, so this is all a part of it. I'm going to separate the majors from the before and the after. We'll see, get a major before, a major after. We'll see what happens in between, and if I need, I'll use the rest of the cards to clarify. Um, and this is something I wanted to do yesterday. I didn't, and it was kind of like at me. So that's why I'm doing it. And also, I was just like, oh, it's feeling like do it live. Another reason why I like doing things live is because then I don't have to wait for the video to upload. Especially like I don't know, because I don't just leave my laptop running. If it was a desktop, that would be different. Um, I only use one of the title cards. Yeah, that way I can have one in each. Ooh. And I am going to timestamp when this actually begins if you want to head right into it afterwards. Okay. So this should be 21 cards. 22 actually. 23. 21 majors plus the fool. It's 22 plus the title card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Nice. And that's all of them. Just want to make sure I don't miss any. Are these shuffleable? Kind of. Oh! I did this for the thumbnail, but I was going to record it like this today. Hi! I guess if you want to see me. Because then, like, if I'm talking, I don't know. If I'm just, like, talking, I like having this camera on, even though I forget to, like, look at it sometimes. And I'm covering Tapestry Saturn. So if Rob comes along, not that I'll know that he's here, because there's no live chat for this one. But for those who are Saturniverse, who have already gone through a Saturn return, Tapestry Saturn is gone. I like this view because sometimes like cool things happen, and I'm like, ah, oh, I wish you saw that. But I also like being able to talk. So I get the best of both worlds with multiple cameras. I just don't want these to fall on the floor. So this should be 23 cards again, and then I'll do the in between after these come out. Actually, maybe I'll just pick a random number. 13. So the 13th card from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Nice. The gang's all here. Okay. And then these will be for clarifiers if I need them, I guess. Actually, I do want to shuffle these. So. Just a little light shuffle. And this was a part of it for today. That's why I'm doing it on the camera. I actually had the thought today. Sometimes I don't really think about it. I'm just like, I'll go live. But today it feels like all of the separation, the putting things in order is a part of the video. It's a part of the process. Who was that? The King of Cups? The Queen of Cups. She's picked the fish out of her cup. And these decks, I don't know, Spirit just be dropping fish in cups for a second. I actually like that she did that. Because it feels like there's a certain emotional awareness within self where we could reach into all of our waters and pull out the single fish. Now, the fish may be a feeling that we need to accentuate in a certain situation for whatever reason. It may be one that we need to analyze. It may be one that is old that we no longer need. There's something about in the after position of that Queen of Cups being able to reach into our own cup and pull something forward from it. And I'm trying to get this done early. My assignments aren't due until Sunday, but I'm learning to not procrastinate. That's the one thing I want to do differently this time. For sure. That's the one thing I am doing differently this time. Okay, I just wanted to give these a shuffle. Justice, again. I'm actually going to read this one this time. In between Justice and the Hanged Man. 11 to 12. Justice is trial, outcome, and balance. The Hanged Man is impasse and reflection. In between is moving through turmoil. The Fool/Hangman is aloft on the shoulders of the four moving characters. He has been captured and has been tried for his crimes. This is the stage where the assembled crowd are carrying him across from the judge and juror and on into confinement. This is a solemn process. Our captive cannot move. He is not free to escape. The energy of justice has an association with the astrological sign of Libra, the scales which is all about establishing a balance, whereas the Hangman has an elemental association with water, which is concerned with emotions and emotional processes. In this card, the movement between the two energies would signify a time where the effect of justice has led to an impasse in the Fool's life. There will now need to be a sustained period of time for reflection and coming to terms with what has occurred. There is a marked difference or a marked difference between how this in between stage can be approached and dealt with. Look at the card's main character, the fool/hanged man. Is he going gracefully with his captors, or is he resisting that change? It can be difficult to know how one would experience a similar situation until one has experienced it themselves. Imagine a prisoner who has been handed his final verdict. The turmoil inside is real, with the inner processes of the intellect and emotional side battling it out for supremacy. It has not yet become a reality for the fool, and the acceptance and altered perspective that will occur with the hangman stage has not yet materialized. I already like that I did this with the live chat turned off, because that's a question that's posed that you get to answer for yourself without being influenced by anyone else, how they see it. And then towards the end or after, if you want to revisit it, then you can see what you would get from it. You can see what you would get from it if you had seen it from a different way. I'll try to be more, I don't know. I feel like I have to really focus to like speak or read sometimes. And it's like, I don't know if that's me being more present or if it's taking me out of the moment. I'll manage it within myself, right? Could be both, could be either, could be neither. So the question they posed is the hanged man, is the fool going willingly or is he fighting? Well, I didn't even see him the first time. His wow, they got his whole body. He can't move. You can see his feet if it focuses. Well, anyway, you can see his feet. Okay, and I actually like that because because of that Queen of Cups and that energy of like being able to reach within one's own emotional body to find something. It doesn't matter what the purpose is, but it's just being able to find it. Because the purpose may be that may be held by like the Queen of Swords, since we're talking about air and water, right? But to be able to find it, to be able to isolate it, it's, I guess, an evolved Queen of Cups. So I said the 13th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Death. The top of the deck has become the bottom, and we have the Fool. And both of these are before. So before the Fool dies, but after he's sentenced to death. Okay. Death came out in the before yesterday with the ash tree. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The Hierophant after. Bottom of the deck is the Wheel of Fortune. I know in the after card of the World, instead of the fixed signs, they have the tools. The aces, Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. And it's like the fixed signs have moved to the Wheel of Fortune. So that energy is migrated. It's interesting that that energy is migrated, though, because the fixed signs are no longer completion. This reminds me of the four fixed stars that Russell did. It also reminds me of something that Corey said. I had it when it was here, but then I lost it. I forgot. But the fixed stars are immutable signs now, and the wheel of fortune is Jupiter. Jupiter rules 2 out of 4 of the mutable signs, and the wheel of fortune is immutable energy, right? Again, the Taro or Taro wheel, it's no longer with the T pointing north. Now the A is pointing north. So there's something about a changed directionality. And it feels like, so the completion that Saturn. That's what it was. Because Corey said that Saturn is feeling different. Anyway, and it's funny that, like, I guess it's coincidental question mark that you can't see that one. So I guess it is different. So the Hierophant would be different. Thank you. This is a different Hierophant. So I don't have to go into the whole thing that I go into with the Hierophant. But there is an energy here where it's like those fixed signs don't represent completion anymore. Or that completion, that's this death here. It's actually taking us into a new cycle. But it's like it's a greater cycle. It's a cycle that's even more, like, there's even more space than there is with the world card. And it kind of sort of feels like this Hierophant, it's reminding me of Martin Luther's 99 thesis question mark. It feels like this Hierophant is making public information that it used to withhold, or the Hierophant is making public, like, it's airing its grievances, it's confessing whatever it's got to confess. And again, I saw these two horses yesterday. And whenever I see a light horse and a dark horse, it gives me chariot energy. So I guess that's where I'll start. I'll go before and after both chariots. So that'll be the chariot into the 8 strength, and the lovers into the chariot. So I need the chariot and strength, or the chariot and the lovers. Are they going to be together? Hello? Look at this ace of coins. What? This might be my favorite ace of coins. And you can see they're setting up the infinity for the 2 of coins. Okay. Anyway. So the lovers. Oh, and we get it. All right. Oh, the fool was at the top. So the ace of coins the lovers into the chariot and the four of swords. And then the seven of coins with the chariot into strength and the hermit. The two of wands and the two of swords at the bottom of the deck. And it's interesting, these suns that appear. Two was the number yesterday after. Well, a lot of twos came out. This is an interesting energy because in this card, it feels like a masculine energy is preparing a feminine energy to go about her journey. In this card, a feminine energy is sending a masculine energy off on his journey. In this, it feels like she gets two sons because one of them is for the womb. And so there's also this energy. Oh, wait, I can do this, right? Hold up, wait. I don't have enough brain. There we go. There we go. Oh, wait, can I do this one too? Oh, this will be tricky. There we go. I did it. Woo! I only have one ceiling light, by the way. There isn't two of them. And they haven't been this far apart before. Anyway, sorry. Let me focus. The third sun is for, it's the one that she carries inside of her. It's for the womb. This reminds me of the Three of Swords. Yeah. But it was on the moon. It's still the sun here. Okay, anyway. It's interesting. Where do I put these? There we go. It's interesting that I mentioned Martin Luther's 99 Thesis because it has a similar energy. When he wrote the 99 grievances, I guess, that he had with the Catholic church, and he put it on the door. What's different, though, is instead of this being one person's grievances, this is a collection of people's grievances. And with historic context, it's interesting that we have these three women signing a Bill of Human Rights, but there are other humans who also have rights, who didn't have rights, who wouldn't have rights for some time, who still don't have rights, some of them, and they're not represented here. Honestly, it feels like it's the sins of the Hierophant who created this system. So this Ace of Coins is a pocket watch. Whose pocket is this in? Can I ask that? If the Hierophant comes out, I'm gonna flip. Whose pocket is this in? This is a before question, right? I feel like it's an after question. Because it can only be revealed after it's gone through its sentencing, maybe. There's also an interesting story here of who this fool is. If the fool is sent to reveal the crimes of the Hierophant, it's this energy. Okay. It's this energy that, like, the Hierophant uses the fool kind of sort of as a scapegoat. It's partially like the Hierophant would use the fool as a scapegoat. Partially, the Hierophant crushes anyone who is in opposition to the Hierophant. But this fool energy is the it's like if there's someone who you know very well and you know that they would never hurt anyone, but all of a sudden they get tried and convicted of a crime that you know they would never commit under any circumstances, then you know that something is wrong with the justice system. Something is wrong with someone who's involved, because it like this person wouldn't do that. It's the fool. They don't. I don't want to say they don't even know how, but and maybe they wouldn't even know how. Some people are like I don't. I wouldn't even know how to steal because I'm so upright or something. I don't know. But that it feels like that's the synergy in the sentencing of these energies. The fault was actually found to be here. It reminds me of, I think it's an episode of Everybody Hates Chris, maybe, where someone gets a speeding ticket and they contest it, and they were 7 miles over, 7 miles per hour over the speed limit. And then everyone else who went to court for a speeding ticket that day, they were all 7 miles over the speed limit. And they're like, oh, so the device must have been miscalibrated because there's no way that every single person here was exactly 7 miles over. So I guess that's whose pocket it's in. I mean, it felt Hierophant, old Hierophant at least, but I guess I just wanted a card to confirm it. So we're not doing that today. Okay. That's fair. And I feel like that also fits into the narrative that's already here, right? How the pocket watch is in a man's pocket. And this is the point where women were like, you know what, we should have more of a say. Because you see some of these dudes out here, and they can vote, they can decide. You see what you see what they do. Okay. It's also interesting. This is the 7 of coins into the 8 of coins. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. But there's 8 coins already here. So it feels like this is an 8 of coins that comes. It's like when you need a certain number of people to sign a petition in order for it to do whatever or go to whoever, right? It's like they need enough people to sign this to bring all of these pinnacles on to this piece of paper. So there's a need for consensus here. And it feels like part of the reason why the world has part of the reason why some things have transpired the way that they've transpired and have been transpiring the way that they've been transpiring is so that we would see something, right? Because it's like for how long it's much more prominent now, but it's like for how long has social media been a way for us to learn the truth of a situation rather than what's reported, right? For how long has the internet been a tool to connect with people all over the world that you would otherwise never have access to? How long has the internet been around to give us access to information that we may never have had access to before? How long has it been connecting people, right? And I feel like a lot of times we say that like the internet and stuff, it's ruining human interaction, but actually what it's doing is it's taking us out of a world where we're forced to interact with those, or where we can only interact with those who are in our immediate environment. Because who's to say that those around you would be supportive of you? Who's to say that those around you would have similar interests to yours? How many people have lived lives of loneliness and isolation thinking they were the only ones in the world going through what they were going through because no one else around them had a similar experience? But you can go on the internet, you can find a forum or a message board back in the day or whatever people have now, and you can find community that you would otherwise not have. And I think what it does is it disrupts in a way. So I can see, the internet being Aquarian because it's a very Uranian energy, Uranutian energy. Because now we have a choice of who we get to interact with. Now we have the ability to find community, even if it isn't immediately sort of around us, right? It feels like a way to overcome certain earthly limitations, and it's an air energy, the air injustice. I think the Fool is also air traditionally, and it's because it's air, it's Uranus in some systems. And that has been the thing. It's like it's taking the world out of this pocket. It's taking the world out of this pocket. It's being positioned to reveal things that would have been kept indefinitely, things that we never would have known, things that we never would have experienced, people we never would have met, right? Interests we maybe never would have even known that we have. And it pulls it. It's like as it pulls it out, it breaks this infinity loop. It's actually a trap because it keeps the same thing propagating ad infinitum. Justice, the Lovers, and the Chariot. Well, I went looking for these majors, so Well, I went looking for them because death and justice are working together to move us forward. Excuse me. This is their son. This is the child that was in the womb of the woman. What? Oh, it was at the cut. Remember those three sons? Here they are. They've all like she's gone on her journey, he's gone on his journey. There's the child in the lover's card. And it's in a home. I don't know if it's a home that hasn't been built yet. Because there's Cancer, fourth house home. The Chariot is Cancer. So maybe it's the child that will actually move the world forward in a way that its parents, it's not that its parents couldn't do it, because it feels like the parents of the child played their part and they did it well. It just wasn't for them to do at that time. But everything, it's like like so many things have been a precursor. So many precursory things. And is this the child as it grows older? No. Who is this? This almost feels like someone not connected to these three. This feels like someone at a distance. Is the child the lion? Is this like Lion King mixed with the nativity? Something. Because it feels like the lion is the child. And there's also an energy, again, with those fixed stars, Regulus, moving into Virgo. It's an energy of, it's something born into a fixed world that finds the power to change it. I feel like the hope of humanity is a stretch. And the hope of humanity doesn't lie in a single person or individual. I don't believe it. But I guess, they always say that children are our future. So maybe it's just children in general. Or maybe it's just newer energies in general. But it's interesting. It's like to make a child, there's a certain unity that must be present. But after that moment, it goes back into separation, right? Two people become one to birth one, and then they return to being two different people. Unless it's like a species where the female takes the male into her body or the male does it or something. I think anglerfish might do something like that. It's like the female anglerfish absorbs the male or something like that. I don't know. There's something about it going back, like the two become one, make one, and then they return to two. Now you have three. If they didn't do that, you would have less. And it's about more in some way. Anyway, this Hermit card is interesting. Look at the Hermit in between the Wheel of Fortune, like between the Hermit and the Wheel of Fortune. His lantern is like shining out all these different pathways. Or there's some kind of music here. That reminds me of Russell. There was a hoe somewhere in the Seven of Pentacles, but I'm not going to pull it. But even on the hoe, there's the pole, and then there's the stone, metallic, whatever. Like there's the hoe, and then there's the rod. And I thought it was raid, but I think from the pronunciation guide it looks like rod, maybe. I don't know. Rod. which is a journey. But anyway, it's like, because here's the staff, there's the lantern. So it's like he could put the lantern on the staff if he wanted, or he could hold the lantern and the staff, I guess. And then here's the fool's, like it's in the fool too, right? The same staff. And inside of the fool's pack, it's the four tools that the magician teaches him to use, like very early in his journey, in their journey. And then we see the four elements present here. And it reminds me of that Queen of Cups for some reason, of like knowing the self, maybe even beyond an emotional level, like on a spiritual, energetic level, coming to know self. And it feels like these are things that it's like the blessing of the wind, the blessing of the earth, the blessing of the water, the blessing of the fire. Like all of these things that the hermit has been collecting on his journey to open a pathway to a new world here. Yeah, because the aces are potentials, right? After the world, it's the aces. So it's almost like he had to gather them in the old world to make space to create a new world. But it isn't a world that's created by one individual or even a single collective of individuals. It's a world that comes to be from many. And maybe it's this, like, if you only get the same type of person to sign this, then you also don't get all eight pentacles on the paper, right? Because we have to account for everybody. We already experienced worlds that only accounted for some. We experienced a world where there were quite a lot of sums who only accounted for themselves and who would elevate themselves over others and who would use all kinds of religion or spirituality or science to justify that. Now, the Four of Swords into the Five of Swords, I feel like the Five of Swords is some sort of like unbridled rage, which is why it can be that energy of like doing way too much. This is the thing that pushes that person there. But instead of this person going out and seeking to wreak the same hurt and pain and loss and destruction that it's felt, it takes it to this space and it transmutes it, which is again what allows us to move forward into new cycles. Because it's interesting that we talk about the code of Hammurabi or the laws of Hammurabi, and an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Because I think what was Hammurabi, it was like, if something has happened to you, then you legally have the right to inflict the same upon the person who did it to you. Maybe. Or was Hammurabi like, if someone steals something, you cut off a hand, and if they steal something again, you cut off the other hand? I don't know. I don't remember. That was a while ago for me. Anyway, it's this: an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. But we've been blinding each other in many ways for quite a while. But that's why we take it here. This is someone who experiences that pain. And it feels like the aim is sort of the same. It's like to create a world where it no longer happens. But this energy on its typical trajectory, it would just recreate it. It would reestablish the same dynamic but with different players. But, and maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is a sacred space for these individuals to release their hurt and to release their pain. but to still work towards coming into a new, or to still work towards coming into better. It reminds me of whatever mess happened at the end of 2019, and people thought we were gonna like go into World War III, but it's like someone had to shoulder their hurt, someone had to shoulder their pain unfairly in order to not sort of like plunge the entire world into that sort of situation. And again, it feels like it was instigated. And so maybe that's another thing here. It's like, how do we deal with instigation? And it's a monumental task, I guess. Moving the world forward, moving an entire planet and all of the people on it. Right? That's the thing I don't like. I understand it from a human perspective, but when it comes to retaliation, it's like if you retaliate against someone for something they did to you, then they're going to retaliate against you for what you subsequently do to them. And it keeps the cycle turning. It's a self propagating justice, because it's like if you're the type of person to wrong someone else because you've been wronged while seeking justice, then the wrong that you do will also like earn you more wrong. And so that wrong will be balanced by another wrong. And so it's just all these wrongs, and nothing ever goes right for too long. There's no need for anything to step in because it balances itself. Again, it's like we've been blinding each other. And we want to be gifted sight. Maybe that's why justice is blind, because justice doesn't have anything to do. No one. I feel like that's more of a like an interpersonal level, right? On a larger level, it feels like the verdict has been issued and the punishment is coming. And then maybe this this is the courtroom for an energy that had this much power. It's like, regular people go to regular justice. Hierophants, they go before the forces that created it all. Because that's the authority they speak with, whether or not it's been granted or whether or not like it truly aligns to what it says. It's like, if this is what you speak of, then this is how you shall be tried. And so if you overly sort of inflate, you just put yourself on a larger scale. It does feel like um, a new. It feels like the successor to this energy is already put in place, though. It feels like it's us, honestly. I'll just put it here. Oh, I can do this. There we go. We'll do this for now. So I'm gonna pull another one, and I'll do 12. Oops. We'll mix it up. Oh, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now Temperance is at the bottom. The Chariot and Temperance. See, it's like now these two forces work together. And it feels like there's an increased immediacy too. Like you don't have to wait, I don't know, 100 years or 200 years or 10 years to finally get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Something worked out. And now the bottom, it's the Before Tarot. It's the title card. And it's the Hierophant. Before. It feels a little brainwashy. Like here's a young person and they put the crown on top of his head, and then it's like his thoughts are just gone. It becomes the crown. Maybe they're taking it off. I don't know. I do kind of sort of like the title card here. It feels like things are moving to how they were before, but it doesn't feel like it's moving in a regressive way. There's a star energy in this Temperance card because it's pouring the water into the water. But there's nothing that it pours on land. It releases the bird. So that could be, moving from the earth epoch into the air epoch. It feels like it frees caged birds. This is that water and air energy that was justice heading into uh, the hangman. And it's like this is what it was about. It's like when we see temperance, we sort of see it halfway. We imagine it as pouring from one cup into the other and then pouring back, like continuously pouring. But it's like the ultimate end goal is to again like break that loop and cause for some kind of change to occur. And then I'll go for it. If I still had the vice versa, cool. I think the vice versa are Los Cabero too. Los Carabello. I like saying it like that too. Because I think they're like the same size as these, honestly. I could do in between and vice versa together. They're similar energies, right? I just want like one card, please. I'll give it 3, 2. Okay. Okay. 1. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Swords. Oh, look at somebody. Well, fighting on behalf of women and children. Back when we did that. He's protecting something. Yeah, there we go. I almost feel like you'd see it better if I did this. He's protecting. Something. He's using his sword for the right reasons. There we go. Using his sword for the right reasons. So we have between the magician and the high priestess, and between the king of swords and the page of swords. What does the magician do with the other tools? He's taking the cup to the high priestess, and then you see the dais. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Of the triple moon with the triple moon goddess symbol in it. It feels like he pours the water into that, and then it's like the water pours into these crevices, and it lights up. It activates a high priestess energy. It summons forth the high priestess, like any video game or movie when a liquid flows through something carved, and then it lights up and something happens, right? And those are her two pillars. And yeah, there's sphinxes, and they have a riddly energy, and it's a high priestess who also has a riddly energy. This, it feels like too. It's like it's entrusting it to the next generation. The king has become old. He can't fight like he used to. It's not his job to do it anymore. Again, he's fulfilled. He's fulfilled his role, and it feels like there were things that he just. What was that about experiences? Where was that? I think that was the. I don't know. There were things that he wasn't able to experience, or things that he only experienced, and so his the information that he imparts is incomplete. I think he understands that there are things that those who come will know, or will learn, or will experience that he never did. And that's why he's handing the sword over. He isn't handing over the crown just yet. Oh, this is the sword. There's the cup. So where's the wand and where's the pentacle? They're here. Well, the wand is here in the spear. The pentacle is here in the shield. So everything's being given to like the next generation except the cup. The cup is being returned to the high priestess to guide them. Okay. I don't know what this was, but I feel like this is. Oh, wait. It was like this. Maybe the king received a prophecy, and that's what he's going to go do. He's like, or he's waiting for this. He's waiting for this energy to become king so he can go and move on to his next whatever. Whatever is for the parents to do next after the child is raised, after the child becomes, capable of doing for themselves. I said I was going to timestamp when I started this, and I didn't do it. Sorry. I'll watch it back and include it because I already said I would do it, right? I was going to be like, oh well, but it's fine. I can timestamp this though. 59:45. I'm going to shuffle all of these out. I didn't think I would do it, but I will. I'll just say an hour. And I pulled those cards. Well, I was shuffling yesterday. I left the cards on the table for a second. Well, it was longer than like a literal second. You know what I mean? For a figurative second, the cards were on the table. Um, and then when I put them away, that's when I noticed That's when I got the cards and I made the thing that I posted as a short. Originally, I sent it to Reem, um, but then I watched it and I was like, I want to post this. Something about handing over the world to the next generation, and I feel like the next generation doesn't have to be the children. Like it doesn't have to be literal children. The next generation is anyone who would move forward, anyone who would allow themselves to mature again. Because that's the thing about being a child is that we are molded by our experiences in a way. Now we get to choose how we react to those experiences. Or maybe not choose. The way that we react to certain experiences isn't fixed. I like that. The way that we react to certain experiences isn't fixed because there are people who can go through very, very, very similar situations but come through completely different. If it were fixed, then it's like everyone would be the same. Everyone who experiences the same would be exactly the same, right? But that's not the case. But it's just an openness. There needs to be a certain openness to learning in a new world. And if you can't release the old world as you come into the new, then you'll sort of be that before world energy instead of being in the after wheel of fortune energy. Where it opens into something completely new. And so almost there's an energy that's like you don't even necessarily have to be completely done with everything that you were already working on. Again, like all eight pentacles aren't on the page. There's more to be gained later. You just got to be open and do what you need to, like as it arises, of course, right? But it's like your moments may offer you something completely different. And what's most important is that you're open to going and allow that healing to take place as you need along the way. I'm trying to make sure I don't put reversals in here. I love this Hermit into the Wheel of Fortune. It came back. Oh, I'll read it. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands into the Three of Wands. And I feel like it's sort of reiterating. Like instead of going down that blood-stained path because of this loss, heading into that Five of Swords. And then the Nine of Cups is under it. It's like it's take the different path, take the brighter one, leave the past in the past. Oh, Nine of Cups into the Ten of Cups. This is gorgeous. This is someone who's meeting a new tribe. Right? Finding that Ten of Cups or approaching that Ten of Cups energy. But the Five of Swords, it's like it doesn't align to it. You see the sunlight coming in from the top, and then you got two suns over here. I was on Snapchat yesterday, and I saw. Well, first I was looking at something I don't remember, and then I was just going on the Snapchat whatever because I guess I wasn't doing anything else last night. No, I started with the planets because it said something about Pluto, and Jupiter is a failed star. Didn't know that. Jupiter is composed of primarily what, hydrogen and helium. It's like it has all of the components of a star, but it's not big enough. It's not big enough for those interactions to be more favorable. And Jupiter is like the biggest. Well, the star is a lot. The sun is a lot bigger than Jupiter, but Jupiter is like our biggest planet. So it's like if something were to happen to Jupiter, And I remember when Cindy came back from the thing, she was talking about how Jupiter was like basically eating the entire solar system as it was moving closer to the sun. And then Saturn is like pulled it back. And Jupiter probably has the most moons that maybe could have been planets. Maybe some of those were planets at one point, but not anymore. Thanks, Jupiter. And it's trigger warning, I guess, but it's like we always look at growth and expansion as a good thing, but like that's what like cancerous cells are. Growth out of control is harmful. So growth and expansion in itself isn't always good. So that's why a little bit of Saturn to control Jupiter is good. You don't want to grow too fast, too quickly, or too much. And then growth also needs to be maintained. It also needs to be nurtured. And if we can barely manage to take care of what we have, if we get any more, it's just going to sort of make that burden more noticeable anyway. It's like maybe Jupiter was on its way to becoming a star, and then Saturn was like, no, no, not yet. What if when the sun goes out, Jupiter becomes the new sun? Because the gravitational pull of the sun won't be there either. And then it's like Jupiter, well, I guess Saturn will still be there. So then Jupiter and Saturn will duke it out. I don't know. The High Priestess and the Nine of Coins before. I just thought it was interesting. I had never heard that Jupiter, like, they were like, that's why we call Jupiter the failed star. I said, what? What? Jupiter can be a star? Shout out to Pisces and Sagittarius. I'm kidding. Maybe that's the Wheel of Fortune. How the energy is in the wheel now. It's moving to the wheel rather than it being in the world. I don't know. And the world is Saturn. Oh. So the fixed signs moved from Saturn to Jupiter. Oh, snap. I smell a coup. I'm kidding. This is the part of the video where I guess I'm just silly. Smells of betrayal. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Saturn's got elemental energies now. It doesn't need that thick stuff. Oh, a title card. Six of Wands, Ace of Wands, Page of Wands, title card. Bottom of the deck, the Fool. Oh, why is the Hierophant still here? It feels like this is being let go. It's the before tarot, so it's like it's before it's in the. I don't know how the Ace of Wands is typically drawn, so let me just zip. It feels like it's being let go here. It's also interesting because this Ace of Wands may be the only one that holds both fire and light in it. But there's an energy of growth here, I guess. So this is there's still a destructive tendency here that hasn't yet been. It's like it's not completely channeled into creation. Maybe this provides some kind of opportunity because it can do both. It's being recognized for its ability to create, for its ability to channel that fire into, it's like an etheric fire, the force that causes buds to bloom and seeds to sprout and trees to grow and one cell to become two cells, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and so on and so forth. And if anyone was seeing how far I could carry out that doubling energy, I'm stopping there. Because it's not about that. And eventually I would get lost. 128 something, 512, 1024, 2048. I don't know why, like, between 128 and 512, the number is lost on me. 128, 2856, 3, It's not about that. That number in between, it's not coming to my brain. Anyway. And then here's the page carrying the wand over into who knows what. There is an energy here of those who don't learn from their past, so are doomed to repeat it. So this page of wands is learning from his past. So he doesn't repeat it. But his past only tells him one side of this energy. So now it's up to him to discover what the other side of this wand can do. That's the side that's not written about. It's the side that I guess we're in the process of discovering. And that's why the Fool is here at the bottom of the deck. That's what they don't teach you in class, I guess. I don't know. A moment before. Maybe that's why I couldn't get a card from this deck, because the Hierophant was still on the table? Question mark. So the Page of Pentacles and the Six of Cups came out. I like that this is the Page instead of the Knight. It feels like the Knight of Pentacles would be too slow in this situation. This is reminding me of what I was saying about the old world and the new world, and you don't have to be a child, but you do have to be open. The Page of Pentacles is open. The Knight of Pentacles is still opening. And so the Knight of Pentacles after, he's still on his journey. The Knight of Pentacles before, he's on his journey. But the Page has reached his destination with the same care and attention to the Pentacle as the Knight, but without unnecessary caution. I did not. Wow. Oops. I purposefully moved this. I thought you couldn't see the door. It's fine. There's the door. There you go. I don't know my directions. And it feels like this feels like a magical creature, person, entity. Imagine like going up to like an elf or a dwarf and calling them a creature. Like, oh, look at this magical creature. It's like, okay. That's why I'm like, ooh. Is person applicable? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Does it matter? I don't know. Magical person. This Page of Pentacles presents the Pentacle to this magical person. And it feels like the magical person runs back to tell others. Something has shifted, something has changed, something is ready. And it's the Six of Cups. So maybe it's something that was here before. And it's like all the flowers have been planted in the cup. There's an earth energy in these cups. That's what the water's for. It also feels like this Page of Pentacles, this is what the Page of Pentacles is growing. and it's being recognized by a naturally aligned energy that recognizes it. The page is offering a seed of his own creation. It's not that he created these, but a seed of something that he tended to, that he nurtured. It feels like an energy of there was always a sort of mutuality, reciprocity, symbioticism between the two before the split, but it was greed that ended it. And so it feels like there's something that these energies can benefit from that they haven't had access to as the veil dropped. The veil is feeling like an iron curtain. So as the iron curtain dropped behind the veil, or the veil on the veil on the veil on the veil drops, a multi-layered veil. And it's not even like a peace offering. It's a token of growth. Like this is the proof of that change in this environment. Yeah, see, the water is for the earth. I don't know if they didn't. I don't know. Because you see these two cups, 5 of cups, 6 of cups. And we see these other fluids over here that don't, these are not conducive to growth, whatever this is. And this is what we've been focused on, which is what has been keeping us stagnating. But with everything transpiring and happening, with everything precursory to what has transpired, to the dominoes that of things that continue to transpire, as we sit in these moments of choice and decision into going about things in a different way. It's like before, there wasn't enough to get us to look in this direction, to get us to see this as capable of more than just whatever we used it for before. And it's like all cups again. Now all cups are growing something. Take it as it resonates. I hope y'all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that whatever you need along your path, you find it. I hope that if a situation calls for you to be open to experiencing something in a different way, that's a lot better than how you've been experiencing things. I hope you can be open to that enough to begin to experience why your past experiences, while valid, don't have to continue to be your experiences ad infinitum, because that old loop is broken. It's breaking. And as it's breaking, it's like a Jormungandr, an Ouroboros, an Uberos that has released its tail. And it's like you can go through like the tail, the snake doesn't even have to completely release the tail. Like as soon as it opens its mouth a little bit, it's like you can shoot through the teeth and get to the other side. Or you can wait until it's fully released and you walk through, or you can wait until it's like, like here's the head. Oh, you can't see me 1 second. Because like this is how it is, right? If it's like that, it's like, you can fit through that gap right there. Or it could be like that, or that, or that. It's like whenever you're ready to go through the gap, you can go through the gap. Now it may be a little more, it may require a little bit more navigation, depending, and our ability to navigate is probably informed by how much we trust and how attached we are to old things and stuff like that. I hope you're open in the moment and the time that it is for you to be open. And it's not courage or bravery if you're not scared, right? It's kind of like it's only courageous if you are scared, because otherwise that's just you doing something. I don't know. Okay. I'll catch you all later. Bye.